You are sitting in a room full of people who have built real things. And someone mentions looking at residency in another country, maybe even a second citizenship.
The table goes quiet.
And then someone says, isn't that illegal?
That question is the most expensive myth in this space, because every year, people who have the means, the complexity, and the legitimate need to think about their jurisdictional architecture don't, because of that one sentence.
So today, we're going to take apart a few myths, not to sell you anything, but to clear the fog so you can actually think straight about this.
Myth number one, this is only for the ultra wealthy. This myth arrives like a whisper at a cubicle wall. Nice idea for billionaires, not for people like us. In the book, we introduce Sophia. She's 33, a public school counselor, and she's scrolling through apartments in Lisbon on her lunch break. She's not chasing yachts. She's chasing a grocery bill that doesn't argue back. And in 20 minutes, she finds a sunny one-bedroom for what she currently pays just to park her car. Then there's Da Nang, Vietnam, one of the most consistently affordable destinations for internationally mobile professionals. A furnished apartment near the beach runs about $230 a month. You can get healthcare coverage that does not spike your blood pressure, and a transit pass that replaces a second job. The truth the book lands on, it's not about being ultra wealthy, but it is about being ultra intentional.
Yeah, and a global map exists where cost of living, tax burden, and quality of life do not move in lockstep. Plenty of people live well on modest budgets in places where the fundamentals simply cost less. And here is the most relevant point for this audience. The people who advise are not looking at this because they cannot afford to stay. They're looking at it because the structure of how they live, where their income is taxed, where their capital sits, where their family has optionality, has not kept pace with how complex their lives have become. That is not a wealth threshold. That is a strategic gap.
Because ultra intentional, that's exactly right. You don't have to be a billionaire. You have to be deliberate.
Myth number two, I will lose my citizenship if I add another. Now, this myth sounds official, right? Like something a stern clerk would say through a thick, bulletproof glass. The book gives us a scene at an airport. A man ahead of you in line hands over a worn blue passport and then pulls out a second one, tucked safely away. There's no alarms, no back room, just a stamp and a smile. The reality is most countries permit dual, even multiple citizenships. That is not a fringe arrangement. It's how a significant portion of the world internationally mobile population has organized itself for decades. It is not a betrayal of your home country. It's called diversification. That's the same logic you apply to your investment portfolio.
That's true. And at Global Citizen Consulting, we don't use the phrase second passport. We talk about your citizenship portfolio because the framing matters. A passport is a document. A citizenship portfolio, well, that's a strategic architecture with legal rights, obligations, and long-range optionality.
Oh, now, laws vary.
That's true.
And some countries do require you to notify, even relinquish when you naturalize elsewhere. Your specific situation has to be analyzed, but the default assumption that adding a citizenship automatically means losing the other one is simply wrong for most of the world. The rule is check your specific jurisdiction.
And remember, agency and compliance, they're not opposites. They coexist, and you just need the right counsel. Myth number 3, international banking is for people with something to hide.
Ooh.
That's a big one. This myth, I think, wears a trench coat and a tabloid headline. The book introduces Emma. She runs a digital agency from her kitchen table in Manchester until she restructures her company to Antigua. She opens a compliant international account and she arranges her business so that tax follows economic reality, where value is created, where risk lives, and where management actually happens. She's not hiding, she's organizing. International describes geography, not morality. There are major corporations that use cross-border structures every day in plain daylight, with teams of lawyers and auditors reviewing every single layer. Individuals, you can do the same legally when you follow the reporting requirements and comply with disclosure rules, and you avoid shortcuts.
Yes, FATCA exists. CRS exists. The day of undisclosed accounts are over and have been for a long time. What the framework actually rewards is proper structure, properly reported. That is the architecture we work on. The book puts it clearly. The line between smart and sloppy is paperwork. Everything compliant is legitimate. Everything undisclosed is not. And there's no gray in between. Myth number 4, I'll have to give up my citizenship to stop being taxed on everything. The nuclear option, spoken like a dare. Well, the book follows James. He's 35, a software engineer from Texas. He doesn't burn his passport. He learns the playbook. He establishes residency in Panama City, qualifies under Panama's territorial tax system, and continues the same work from a new location. His effective tax exposure drops substantially. He didn't escape work. He just escaped waste.
Remember, renunciation, it's a tool, not a requirement. And for most people, it's not even a necessary one. There are territorial tax systems, special tax regimes, bilateral treaties, the foreign earned income exclusion, the foreign tax credit, corporate structuring, timing of income recognition. These are all legal mechanisms that the majority of U.S. connected founders and executives have never had properly mapped out for their specific profile.
So between intelligent use of home country rules, careful attention to sourcing and residency periods, and coordinating structure across the 7 dimensions we examine in every engagement, substantial reduction of tax exposure without renunciation is entirely achievable for the right situation.
Well, that is the key word or phrase, the right situation. This is not a universal playbook. It's a bespoke analysis, which is exactly why we start with a full picture, not some product. We're going to talk for a few minutes about some of the softer myths. And these are the quieter myths, the ones that people don't say out loud, but we carry anyway. One of my favorites, if I leave, I'm abandoning my community. Well, that's a values question that's worth sitting with. But it's also worth noting, you might be modeling something for them. You might be the first person in your circle to demonstrate that the default settings, they're not the only settings. Another one is, if I don't speak the language, I will fail. Well, you learned complex tax software, or you learned airline booking systems, or maybe even corporate governance structures. You can learn to say hola or la cuenta, por favor. Many of the most established jurisdictions for internationally mobile professionals are also substantially English functioning. However, making an effort with the local language, it's always rewarded.
So here's another one. If I move, I'll be unsafe. Well, safety is not a country label. It is defined neighborhood by neighborhood, building by building. There are areas within countries with challenging reputations where you can sleep soundly and live well. And there are blocks in cities with sterling reputations where you would not sleep well at all. But you are not moving to a reputation. You are moving to a specific address.
And one of the last ones, if I go, I cannot come back. Well, you can. Start with maybe just 6 months. Keep your roots if you need to. Prune the branches that no longer serve the structure, though, and grow new ones.
Our book closes this opening section with a line that has stayed with us. The default settings are designed to keep you in default mode. Debt assume you will stay. Tax structures assume you will not look. Even institutions assume you cannot move. Well, none of that is law. It is inertia. And inertia loses to intent.
Remember, this is not about evasion, but it is about alignment. The point where your effort, your capital, and your life stop arguing with each other.
The Global Freedom Blueprint book is available on Amazon, and the link is in the description. It is the longer version of what we started today, of course. And if you want these principles examined against your specific situation, your income profile, your citizenship, your family structure, your timeline, that's precisely what our intro conversation is designed to start. The link to schedule a call is also in the description. There are no obligations, and it's really confidential.
Next week, we go inside the story of why we wrote the book, what happened to us, and what we saw that made executing our global blueprint a priority. And we think it will land a little differently than you might expect. I'm Gail Warrior.
And I'm Christophe Suchy. We are the co-founders of Global Citizen Consulting. We'll see you next week.